to speak about. Now, what I do want you guys to do, though, is I don't want everybody to go too ham on what Jamie's saying here, because you know what, Sam? I think you might have misread what he's saying in terms of, I agree with you, McAllister is our best midfielder. But he said...
I'm gonna get triggered. I'm gonna get triggered. I'm warning you. I'm very...
No, that's fine. That's fine.
This is a triggering topic.
I was looking at some inside training. I was watching back some of the highlights of some of the games. I tell you what, guys, we are absolutely blessed right now with the options that we have in midfield. And I can't lie to you. Jamie might be onto something. You don't have to be the best to be the most important, you know, Hassan. You don't have to be the best. Szoboszlai is absolutely coming into his own. Like he really, really is. I remember nobody ever doubted his ability. We just hated that he didn't take responsibility and he just didn't seem to be playing the way we felt he should be playing. It was never about his ability.
You're smiling. Who was the person? Who was the person 2 months ago who criticized him for Aston Villa?
But what was the criticism about?
Me and you said the same thing, Drifty. We said
it was deferring. It was not taking
our problem with Szoboszlai is he lacks the cojones. Do we agree on this? Still,
that's what it seemed like. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Now,
but what if it was instruction, Hassan?
Can I ask a question? With that Villa chance, do you think McAllister takes the shot, or do you reckon he passes as well?
McAllister shoots.
McAllister passes. No,
McAllister passes that.
No, you pass because it's the correct decision to pass.
McAllister passes.
No, you pass because it was the correct decision to pass.
I guarantee you McAllister passes.
Okay,
no, guys, let's not argue about that one chance. Because Szoboszlai did it all season. It wasn't just that one chance.
But that was the one that set everyone off, though, innit? So that's why I asked the question. I fully agree with Jamie's statement. And I'll use a different scenario to break it down and say why. Who was Liverpool's best attacker out of the front three when we had Mane, Salah, and Firmino?
Salah.
Who was the most important?
Salah as well.
Firmino. Tom knows it. That's why he's smirking.
No, he was not.
No, because
he was not. And can I prove to you that he was not? Do you remember when Firmino was
the most important person in that front three? He was.
Okay, can I tell you why he was?
I actually think that's the most even split. They're all just as important.
Firmino was the most. I'm not saying the other two weren't important, by the way.
I'll tell you why he wasn't the most important. Okay, can I argue the opposite? Can I argue the opposite? Do you remember when Firmino was injured and we played Shaqiri right wing and Salah up top? 4-2-3-1 under Klopp. We were still winning games.
That doesn't mean he's not important, Hassan.
No, because by definition, when you claim that someone is the most important, when he's not there, he is missed. Like that's the definition.
How many games was that?
Definition. Can I just please rebut it? The absolute definition of most important. Who was our most important player in the modern era? Steven Gerrard. Every time Gerrard did not play, we looked like shit. That's the definition of most important player.
No, it's not.
With the front three that we had, every time Salah did not play, we looked like shit. Firmino was sometimes replaced by Origi. We still cooked. Shaqiri played on the right, Salah up top. We still cooked. When Mane played up top, when Firmino fell off, we still cooked. The most important player is the player that's still here 9 years later. That's his important.
You're mistaking most important for best. The two are very...
I'll be honest, Cal.
It can be both. I'm not.
No, Gerrard was both.
Cal, and Salah is both too.
The problem you've got... He was both. The problem you've got with the Firmino point, and whilst I would have agreed a couple of years ago, the more I think about it, Diogo Jota would go into that front line in that position, and we wouldn't lose anything.
Hold on, that's not true.
It is true.
Hold on
a bit. It is true.
We did watch-alongs. Were we not saying at the time, sometimes when Jota was playing in the front three, that there was no cohesion and the balance looked off? Did we not say that, Drift?
In the beginning, yes.
Not just
you're talking about the part in the beginning. No,
Liverpool Football Club were on for a quadruple when Firmino was the third choice striker.
Okay,
I don't mean to. I'm not being horrible, but that's the way it was.
Okay,
when we're talking about the prime of that front three, which was 2017 to 2020, I'm saying Salah was the best out of the front three, but Firmino was the glue that held that together. He was a system.
But again, guys, I think there were, like, I can think of two examples: the Merseyside derby and Barcelona 4-0 when Mane had neither of them and was the best player on the pitch. I think all three of them were just as important as each other.
The reason why I disagree with Firmino.
Also, I don't think the Firmino situation is anything like the Szoboszlai
We have to come back full circle.
Sorry, Hassan. One thing,
Can I just
to reiterate my point. I'll use a completely different team. MSN. We'll all agree Messi is the best in that front three, right?
And most important for me.
And he's the most
No, Suarez was the most important.
Oh my God! There is no one more important than Messi. Stop it. Stop it. That's the worst take you've ever had in YouTube.
You're not listening. You're actually not listening.
Literally no one more. You're talking about Firmino was the system. Messi was the system, bro. Stop it. Stop it.
So why is it that when Suarez went into the team, that's when the team clicked? What happened when Suarez wasn't in the team and it was Messi and Neymar? And they didn't.
Brother, they were winning league titles with Pedro and David Villa, mate. They were winning league titles with Henry, with Thierry Henry in the latter stage of his career, and Eto'o in the latter stage of his career.
Go back into history and look at what was happening with MSN before it became MSN.
What was happening? They were winning league titles.
They were not clicking until Suarez came to the team. They were not clicking. I don't understand.
That's the biggest load of shit I've heard in my life because they were winning league titles.
I'll be honest. Your thing with the MSN thing
people don't understand that. Just because you're the best doesn't mean you're the most important.
MSN didn't work. MSN didn't work at the start because Luis Enrique was playing Suarez on the wing.
Yes,
that doesn't make Suarez the most important. Messi was the most important because Messi could move out of centre forward onto the wing and be as good. Suarez got put in the middle in his natural position and improved, but Messi was just as good in the middle as out wide.
He got them to gel and work.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes or no? Did they start gelling and working better? Yes or no?
Because Enrique made a tactical switch, that does not mean Suarez is the most important. Let me ask you a question. First of all, the statement that you made, the best player is not always the most important player. No one disagrees with that. We agree with you. Not every time the best is the most important. However, in the cases that you have mentioned, the best was the most important. Salah was our most important player in the club on the slot era and from the front three and in general, in my opinion. And the same thing with Messi. Messi was the whole Barcelona system because he's the one that dropped deep, created for them. The assists that he had that season was ridiculous. He was the best. Like there were some points by the way, there were some points in the season when Neymar was their best player. There were some points where Suarez was their best player. But overall, Messi was their best player and most important. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's go back to Liverpool, please. I
was going to say, let's bring it back to the.
Well, yeah. I'm going to ask you, please, just short answers, please. What did Szoboszlai bring to the team last season? And what did Gravenberch bring to the team last season? I want to know just both these players only.
Who are you asking?
You, Callum.
What did Szoboszlai bring to the team?
Yeah, what did Szoboszlai and what did Gravenberch bring to the team?
Pressing, defensive work, and kind
of covering for Salah.
bailing Trent out a lot as well.
Bailing Trent out. Okay, and what do you think Gravenberch brought to the team?
Gravenberch was the player who was able to build out from the back. He was intercepting. He was doing the defensive work, the dogged work, and effectively starting the progression from defense to attack.
Okay, so what would you say is Gravenberch's best trait as a footballer?
In my opinion,
yeah,
probably his ball retention and keeping the move and keeping the game flowing.
This is key as well. Szoboszlai brought physicality to the midfield.
Okay, so what's Szoboszlai's best trait?
His engine.
I'll say it's a combination of his pace, his strength, and his engine.
It's his engine.
Okay, no problem. Everyone stop the show right now. I'm going to ask you an objective question based on everything you guys just said. Imagine Szoboszlai didn't play for Liverpool last season and Conor Gallagher played for Liverpool. Would we still won the league?
No, you can't say that, bro.
This is what I mean.
You're saying I can't say that, but everything you just mentioned is exactly what Chelsea fans used to say about Conor Gallagher.
No, but Conor Gallagher doesn't have Szoboszlai's intelligence.
It's this. Oh, really? Intelligence when you're the one that called us Biden his truth and you called us cojones.
No, but there's a difference between not having cojones and being intelligent. Szoboszlai is still a very intelligent footballer, bro. It seemed like he was just always deferring responsibility. That was what my problem was with Szoboszlai. It seemed like he never wanted to take responsibility.
You said bail Trent out, and he's the reason why Salah didn't have to track back. Okay, we could have done that to Conor Gallagher then. The reason why I'm bringing up There's a reason why I brought up this argument, and I'll just say this. I'll land on this, and then you guys can do whatever you want. If you want to talk about the eye test, every time Alexis McAllister did not play in our midfield, we looked like ass. We categorically looked like actual ass without Alexis McAllister. He's the only midfielder in that midfield 3 last season that's categorically irreplaceable, because he is the only one who is complete. Meaning, the reason why he's our most important midfielder is because he can do everything. Meaning, he can defend, he can attack. If you want to make it very basic, he can defend, he can attack. If you want to go deep into all the all the eye test related stuff, he could pass, he could shoot, he could create, and at the same time, he could tackle, he could do all that. The only thing that goes against McAllister is probably a little bit of his athleticism, because he's not as athletic as the other two. But as a footballer, his importance was showed on the pitch every single time he played. He's the only midfielder in the midfield 3 for me last season that was irreplaceable. I think Gravenberch is replaceable, and I think Szoboszlai is replaceable. You telling me Szoboszlai most important thing was essentially bailing Trent out and making sure that Salah doesn't have to track back? With all due respect, that's an attribute that I can find in a million footballers around the world. So that does not make Szoboszlai the most important midfielder because he tracked back, because Henderson tracked back.
Once again, you're mistaken.
We still looked like shit when Firmino didn't play.
You're mistaken.
No, but bro, I'm not gonna,
personnel. You're actually.
I'm not gonna lie, Hassan. Even though I get where you're coming from, because I love McAllister and he's just such a baller. Bro, the first 2/3 of the season, you couldn't replace Gravenberch. I totally disagree. Gravenberch was so pivotal to how we were playing, bro. Like, do you know what? In fact, the more we're having this conversation, the more I realize it goes back to what I said. We are so blessed, guys. We're just a great midfield where everybody does. Are we back to having the Genie, Hendo, Flacco again, where you don't really point to one and go, he's more important than the other? As a unit, they just all do their job and they're just a brilliant.
I pointed to one and said he's more important. I thought Firmino was our most important.
Nah, but bro, Genie and Hendo was so.
You could no, you know what? I kind of agree with the Sam there. You could put Milner in one of the central midfield positions, and you wouldn't necessarily lose as much.
That was the most important.
If you put Henderson at DM, Liverpool looked a lot worse in transition.
If you look at what Henderson,
hold on, wait. Sorry, on that. All right, I agree with everything you just said there, Tom. But you know, there was a period where Firmino was out of the team, and there was no drop off when Henderson played in the DM. So that is again going back to my notion that just because the person's important, and when they come out the team's still winning, doesn't make them less important. It just means that the manager and the team have adapted to a situation. When Firmino got injured, I think it was the 1920 season, Henderson went into DM, and we still were winning games, comfortably winning games. But we also know that when Firmino was there, the team was just better. Firmino was the most important player in that midfield, but the other two were just as needed in the team.
You just rebutted your own point.
To go back to my original point, just because one person's the most important doesn't mean the other two aren't important as well. And I think that's what the frustration for me is that we're seeing it too black and white. So me saying, whether you guys agree or not, me saying that I think Firmino is the most important is not me then saying, oh, but for me, Salah and Mane are crap if he doesn't play. Not the case at all. I'm just saying when he does play, it elevates their games. Therefore, I think he's the most important.
No one disagrees with that. That doesn't make him the most important.
No, that's what I'm saying. Forget about whether you agree or not. I'm saying if Firmino weren't playing, Liverpool would have still won games. But when Firmino was playing, we were almost unbeatable. So therefore, in my opinion, he's the most important there.
Yeah, but that's because we were a really good team. I agree with the basic logic of your point, which is not always best player equal most important. This is true. Because there were points in time where Van Dijk was our most important. There were points in time where Allister was our most important. There were points in time where Mane was our most important. You are completely correct. But if we're talking about overall in the Klopp era, the most important player was Salah for me. Overall, I'm just saying. As a general, in a 5-year period. So when I look at this current midfield and what we're talking about, I'm being completely genuine right now. What all three of you described about Szoboszlai, I genuinely could have gotten that from 100 different midfielders. I'm not even disrespecting Szoboszlai. I'm just being completely honest right now. Had we removed Szoboszlai from the team, put in Conor Gallagher, told him track back for Salah, we'd still won the league using your logic. Now I'm looking at this midfield, and you cannot be the most important midfielder when Drifty says you're indecisive and you lack cojones, and Callum says your best trait is your engine, and Tom. The best midfielder and the most important one
No, you know,
has
Hassan,
to
I
be
think
the complete
You're getting it wrong
midfielder.
again.
no,
You're getting it
Hassan,
wrong.
I think you're getting it wrong. As in that what Jamie was saying and what I'm trying to go along now is, I'm talking about recently, bro. So I'm not even going back to like the whole of last season. I'm just thinking about even looking at the team now. Szoboszlai is actually undroppable, and he's kind of proving that Slot has found a new role for him in the team. Because we all
Szoboszlai ain't
thought it was
undroppable.
Szoboszlai is going to go to the bench as soon as Vert's come in, and Slot's
Liverpool
like,
last
hang on a minute.
season.
No,
Li-
I'm going to find a new way to
No.
fit Szoboszlai in his team because of his importance. And
No,
are
no,
you not
no,
going to
no.
disagree when I say this?
Yes.
We don't
Yes.
even know if all of them are fit, if Szoboszlai is the bench player.
Szoboszlai ain't
Szoboszlai might still
undroppable
be
at
the
all.
starter, even if they're
Liverpool
all
last season, I hark back to this multiple times. Our loss last year, our first loss last season was Nottingham Forest at home. Liverpool were the better team in that game for 60 minutes. And then on the 60th minute, Arnie Slot substitutes out Alexis McAllister. Liverpool turns to shit. The other game that Arnie Slot
That's
harps
just
on
one
about,
game, though, Tom.
the other game Arnie Slot harped on about last season has been the only game where a team was better than us was Chelsea. Alexis McAllister didn't start that game. And we were, outside of a Curtis Jones monster performance, which he couldn't replicate, Liverpool really struggled in that game.
Szoboszlai was ran through that game by the Chelsea.
When you look at Alexis McAllister last season, in the big games, he turned up. In the small games, he turned up. When we needed someone to give you a reliable, consistent performance, he turned up. The only game I can think that Alexis McAllister wasn't great in was Arsenal away. And he sourced himself out in the second half.
Newcastle away as well.
Newcastle away was not the worst.
Newcastle Gravenberch was way worse.
Newcastle away.
Wait. You never heard me. Wait, guys, you're doing it again. I never once said McAllister was the worst. You guys have literally gone to that straight away. You said the one game he wasn't very good in was the Arsenal game away. I said he wasn't good against Newcastle away either. He wouldn't have been against PSG away either.
So I think he was good against Newcastle and PSG.
Newcastle away.
I have no.
By the way, I didn't say he was amazing. He was
that game
good.
in midfield.
He was just good. He was okay.
He got bullied in the midfield, guys. Even in the cup final, he got bullied as well. What are we doing there?
McAllister didn't get bullied in the cup final. Slot got out-coached in the cup final. We were playing long balls to Dan Burn.
Right. Hold on, two things can be right. We all agree that Slot was terrible in that cup final. McAllister got bullied in that final. What are we
Disagree
doing?
Completely. Disagree
Okay.
completely.
No. Hold on, Hassan. Let's buy into that notion. He was still the best midfielder on the day.
Yes, he was.
What, against Newcastle? Which game? What, the League Cup game?
The cup final.
Mr.
We were
Athletic
shit that
Szoboszlai
day.
couldn't do anything.
None of our midfielders were any good, and he was still the best.
No, he weren't.
Yes, he was. Who was better than him?
Szoboszlai was better than him that day.
Szoboszlai was not
wasn't
better than him. Szoboszlai was wank
Szoboszlai
that
weren't
day.
great either.
Did you say Szobo was
Szoboszlai
better
did
than
nothing
him?
correct.
Oh,
Yes.
God help me.
Yeah, but if McAllister was a 4, Szoboszlai was a 4.5 or a 5. I'm not talking
No, he
of like.
wasn't.
All right, cool.
Anyway,
No, he wasn't.
so are you guys?
Alexis McAllister was our most important midfielder last year. When he was not in the
And best.
team, Liverpool was not good.
You know what?
Liverpool's
I
midfield
truly
couldn't do what
believe
needed
they
to
were
do.
all as important as each other. I'm going to say the same thing I said about the.
I think
front
Szoboszlai will play a bit more this year in that role, in that left side.
And the double
role.
pivot.
But as I said earlier on in the stream, I think the two most common midfield partnerships you will see this season will be Szoboszlai McAllister or Gravenberch and McAllister. Liverpool cannot afford to take McAllister out of the team because Alexis McAllister does everything. Gravenberch is good defensively, not great going forwards. Szoboszlai is good going forwards and has an engine defensively, but he's not a defensive-minded midfielder.
Yeah.
Alexis McAllister, for 2 years straight, has led Liverpool in tackles, interceptions, recoveries in the midfield.
Do you know why?
Scores goals, he creates goals. He does.
And when you talk
everything
about
he
all
wants.
three of them, Gravenberch, like this is Gravenberch's season. He started it right up here and he was like consistent until December, then he slowly dropped off. McAllister started it here. Like McAllister was worse than Gravenberch to start, but he ended up going here towards the end.
I don't even agree with that though, Hassam. I think that what happened last season was Gravenberch was there to start the season. McAllister was there to start the season, but because Gravenberch had never been there, we were sort of going, whoa.
He fell off a little bit.
It was the shock of Gravenberch being as good as he was in that position that made people think he was better than McAllister. I think McAllister, from the first game of the season, McAllister had a bad 3 weeks after an international break where he was a bit gassed. Outside of that, McAllister was consistent.
Yeah, McAllister's our best and most important one for me. Everything you guys described about Szoboszlai, I could get Gallagher to do.
I actually think Gravenberch is the one who plays, and it's between Mac and Szoboszlai. I don't think Mac's the one who plays and the others rotate. We don't have a natural 6 better than Gravenberch, and that's the most important role in the team.
No, but Arnie Slot has played McAllister in the 6 before, as he did last season.
But McAllister in the 6 doesn't work without somebody next to him.
But we're not playing that same midfield setup this season.
I'll take it a step further. I think McAllister is a better 6 than Gravenberch, a better 8 than both, and he's a better 10 than Szoboszlai. That's how good he is.
No, McAllister's not a better 6 than Grav. I love McAllister, and he is our best midfielder talent-wise. He's not a better 6 than Gravenberch. He's not. Come on. He's not, man. He's not. He gets ran past the most out of every player.
I was just going to say, like, Gravenberch and McAllister were getting run past so much that Szoboszlai was the one running past them to win the ball back or concede fouls.
But when I first started, I said McAllister's not as athletic as the other two.
It's not just about athleticism. Just because you've got a lot of a good engine doesn't mean you don't have to have football IQ. You have to know when.
Yeah, but if McAllister was a bit quicker, none of this would happen.
Yeah, but he's not a bit quicker. He's not.
Yeah, that's my point. Even with him not being quicker, his IQ and his intelligence is above them by levels.
No, it is. But let's not act like Szoboszlai all he is just a running machine. Like, he has to know when to fill in for Trent going forward. He has to know when to fill in and to track back for.
I don't have to act anything. That's what you said. You said it verbatim. You said his engine and pulling Trent out of trouble. That's your own words, not mine.
No, again, you're saying it like I'm saying that's his best attribute and all the others are crap, though. I'm not saying that.
That's not what I said.
No, but
I asked you what his best attribute is, and you said covering for Trent and his engine.
What's McAllister's best attribute?
Everything.
Oh, come on, Hassan, man. So he got
his passing, the way that he reads the game, his intelligence, the way he dictates tempo from his line-breaking passes,
so he's crap at tackling then.
His set-piece ability, his shooting from
he's crap at tackling then. He's crap at
tackling. No, he's in the top 8% of midfielders in the top 5 leagues for tackles.
Tackling.
Exactly my point. So just because you pick out his best attribute doesn't mean his others are crap.
I just said everything is his best attribute.
They're not all of his best attributes. What are we doing here?
He's good at everything except he's not athletic.
I said he's good at everything, but you've got to have best and attributes.
No, I think
here's the difference.
The best way to describe it is Alexis McAllister doesn't have a notable weakness in the way the other two do.
Yes.
The other two, I can look at them and notice a weakness. McAllister doesn't have that noticeable weakness in his game.
Guys,
no, I think his lack of pace is a noticeable.
We are not disputing who is better out of McAllister, who's better out of McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai. We all know the answer to that question. The question was who's the most important, and I stand on it. That Szoboszlai is the most important, because if you take Szoboszlai that team last season, in the same way you take McAllister out or Grav, we drop a level. The difference is when you take Szoboszlai out, we struggle in terms of a physicality standpoint, and the midfield is the engine.
Out, we don't even win the league.
You take
Szoboszlai out, bring in Conor Gallagher, we're league champs.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest, Callum.
That's wild, bro.
No. You want me to be brutally honest, Cal?
Same exact thing when Henderson was at the club.
All right, so
everyone pretended that because he covered for Trent, he's our most important. Obviously, he's not our most important one. The most important one was Fabinho. Just so like now, the most important one. If Conor Gallagher, like or not, Gravenberch is very replaceable because he's a midfielder that cannot pass, and Szoboszlai is replaceable.
No, we're going
this is what I mean.
Szoboszlai is replaceable because his best attribute is engine, which I can find in 100,000 footballers.
So Hassan, how would you replace Hendo's leadership? Because he wasn't just covering for Trent, bro.
I'll break it down even further and ask a really simple question. Who's a better footballer, Hassan? Oxlade-Chamberlain or Henderson at their peak? Who's a better footballer?
You're speaking to the wrong guy. Tom will tell you I'm a massive Ox fan.
So answer the question then. Who's better?
Oxlade-Chamberlain's better.
Okay, I agree with you. Who's more important to the system, Ox or Hendo?
If they were both fit, Henderson would have never sniffed it ahead of Ox.
You're crazy.
Okay, can I tell you why I'm not crazy? 17-18, before you start shouting. 17-18, before Oxlade-Chamberlain's injury. Were we not talking about Ox as one of the best midfielders in the whole league?
What did we win?
Okay, see how we changed the topic? See how we changed the topic? I said before the injury, you notice how you changed the topic to try to win the debate?
No.
Don't be disingenuous.
Nothing to win the argument.
Don't be disingenuous. 17-18, before Ox got injured against Roma, was he not one of the best midfielders in the whole league?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, there you go then.
So okay, so that small sample size outweighs everything Hendo done,
based
yeah?
on availability. Wow, well done, guys. Ox got injured
No,
all the
it's
time.
not based on availability. It's based on the tactics. If Ox played where Henderson was playing, based on our tactics, where Trent and Robbo were the creative
Ox was covering just as much for Henderson, but he was doing a lot more going forward.
Man. Ox was nowhere.
That's why he got injured, because he was tackling the Roma left winger when he was attacking Trent.
Everyone on the football pitch tackles, bro. What are we doing there?
No, he got injured.
Henderson collapsed at the end of the. Hold on, Henderson collapsed at the end of the Barcelona game because he ran himself into the ground.
Stop it! He made a tackle in recovery. Stop it! Stop it! It's different.
So Henderson never made.
Henderson was doing just as much defensive work. He was doing just as much defensive work.
No,
he was scoring bangers. Okay, can I prove
to you that
this
is your fault, Jamie Phillips? I hope you're happy with yourself here, Jamie.
Can I prove to you that he was doing just as much defensive work? We went away to Manchester City. We beat them 2-1. He was part of the midfield away from home against Manchester City that did all that defensive work. If you're going to claim before Ox's injury in 17-18 he was not doing defensive work, then I don't know what you're watching.
Are you talking about the game away from home where we got ripped to shreds in the first half and couldn't keep a hold of the ball or anything?
Who was our DM?
All of them were not great. I'm not sitting there saying they weren't great.
Notice how he couldn't answer. Can you answer the question, please?
No, but you just said he was the one doing all the defensive work and doing this and doing that.
We beat City 1. Who was our DM?
Hold on, Tom.
Who was our DM? Answer it, Callum. Why are you running?
Guys, we'll pause it for a second. Tom,
Yeah, there you go,
I think
then.
I know what you're going to say.
So where's the covering? Where's the covering from?
Guys, come on.
We
can come back.
I don't care about your meaty fucking debate about Oxlade-Chamberlain or Henderson at this point.
This is important, guys. So Sam, you're going to be happy. Tom, talk.
Plettenberg, Newcastle have officially opened negotiations for Kolo Muani. The 26-year-old is high on Newcastle's shortlist after the move for Sesko fell through. Whilst Newcastle